Hello, good afternoon. It is now only 13 days to go for the December 7 election. So how are the various campaigns shaping up for the final lap? We'll also examine the appropriate political strategy to adopt in the final days to such a major election. We're live from the Multi-TV studios and live also on radio at Joy 99.7 FM. Together, we are your election headquarters. We'll be back with the details. You're live on Joy 99.7 FM and live on the Joy News channel on Multi-TV. This is your election headquarters. This afternoon, we're also live on Love FM in Kumasi, and the program is brought to you by Infobox Mobile Services. Text ELECTION or JOY to 1922 for more. Each SMS costs 10 pesos. Be the first to know it all, the issues, the promises, the policies, the results, and more from the Joy Election Headquarters. My name is Araba Kumson. Last days, they say, are dangerous. But how important might this statement prove in these final days before the December elections for the various campaigns? With that in mind, let's get a clearer sense of how the various parties are positioning themselves for the home stretch. Joining me on the line now is the national organizer of the NDC, Yao Boating-Jan. I'm told that he will join us shortly, but I'm joined on the line by Abu Jinapor. He's an aide to the MPP presidential candidate Nana Akufo-Addo. Now, Abu, tell me, how are you preparing with just 13 days to go for the major polls?
Well, thank you very much, Araba, and thank you for having me. A very good afternoon to your cherished listeners and viewers. Clearly, our candidates, our party leadership, the campaign manager, and all the campaign operatives have worked tirelessly, worked strategically for the past almost 3 years now to prosecute a very robust, comprehensive campaign. As you rightly put it, I heard Nana Akufo-Addo put it the last time he had his press interaction. The last stretch or the home stretch, if you actually put it, the Osu Kese horse race, is very critical. And he's remaining focused, as we all witnessed last 2/9, when he brilliantly articulated his vision for this country in all sectors of our national life at the IEA presidential debate, where he demonstrated a great sense of leadership, maturity, and calm, and almost convinced all and sundry as to his preparedness for the leadership mantle of this country. The last 13 days is not going to be dramatically different from how he's been posturing and how the campaign has been posturing over the past 3 years. It's going to remain focused. It's going to remain issue-based. It's going to remain taking our message to the Ghanaian people, which is captured in the two-pronged approach. First, the question of how inept and inefficient the NDC administration has been for the past 4 years, to the extent that they failed on almost every promise that they made to the Ghanaian people. They promised to reduce poor drastically. They further increased it drastically. The prices of goods and services have been skyrocketing. They promised to ensure that corruption was dealt with, yet it turned out to be the most corrupt administration in the history of this country. There's a sense of hopelessness in our country.
All right, Abu, tell me, let's focus on the campaign proper. What is Nana doing today? We're told that he's in the western region. Which major areas will he be looking at, even as, you know, he wraps up his campaign?
He's in the western region doing community visits, what the campaign has christened whistle stops, making whistle stops and delivering his message of free secondary education, teacher first policy, redefining basic education, economic transformation, giving strength to the city, fighting corruption, infrastructure development. So he's in the western region. The last days of the campaign, even though I cannot disclose the entire strategy and entire itinerary, is going to be characterized with community visits, whistle stops, and obviously the regional rally to boost momentum and galvanize our supporters to turn out to vote. He's equally going to make some strategic moves, which I will not disclose as well. But what I can assure you of is that the campaign is going to remain focused. We're going to keep drumming home the message and taking the message to every corner of this country.
All right, thank you very much. That's Abu Jinapor. He speaks for MPP presidential candidate Nana Akufo-Addo. Shortly, we'll be speaking to the NDC General Secretary. We'll be speaking to the NDC's national organizer, Boateng Jan. But Mr. Abu Janapor is still on the line with us. Stay on the line for me, because I have right now with me on the line Ni Alma Akonfra. He's with the CPP. Good afternoon to you. What does your candidate plan to do in these final days, Ni?
Well, you can be rest assured that he will certainly be mounting a more vigorous campaign across the country in different constituencies that we're targeting. He will take on a message to Ghanaians that actually where we are now is the only alternative way to stop MPP and NDC from winning this election. He's the best candidate coming through the debate, and we're going to appeal to all other political parties, all new parties, all smaller parties to support Dr. Abu Sakara as the only alternative to stop MPP and NDC from coming to government.
And Ni, where has your candidate been traveling? Where is he right now as we speak?
He's been to the Volta region since the debate. He'll be going to other areas, but again, we're now entering a very sensitive part of the campaign,
right.
And I don't think we necessarily want to be sharing on a daily basis where our candidate is going to be. But he will be in different parts of the country. He'll be crisscrossing the country from north to south to east to west. He's been to the Volta region yesterday, back to Accra, and then he will continue his campaign.
Well, you may have heard the MPP's Abu Janapor. He says they have some secrets up their sleeves for enhancing their campaign. Does your candidate have same?
Indeed. I mean, I wouldn't have thought any campaign worth its salt will not have a final strategy for the final phase. We have our final phase strategy. We have our final phase messages, and we will be embarking on that. We have embarked on it since the debate, and we will be rolling about. It's not something that we will necessarily want to share, but yes, I think any political party in the last few days of the election will have their own secret strategies, and we have ours.
All right, let me come back. Hold on for me. Let me go back to Abu Janapor. Abu, we've seen a lot of traveling around the country by your candidate. Is he going to keep to that schedule, or might he change it in the final lap?
Well, Araba, clearly, if you want to take your message to the people, you simply have to go to the people. And I dare say that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been the candidate who's been to the people more than any other candidate in the election. He's virtually been to every hamlet in the country. And he's going to maintain that kind of strategy. He's going to go find a way of reaching out to the people. But mind you, and let's not be oblivious of the fact that this campaign is not being waged by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo alone. He is doing very well. He's a standard bearer. He's a flag bearer. He's a presidential candidate. He's a lead campaigner in this campaign. But as I speak to you now, the very indefatigable, illustrious vice presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, is currently in Yakuba Kubori, canvassing votes for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. President Kufuor is addressing a rally at Ablikuma Central, I guess, tomorrow at lawyer Patrick Kwame's constituency tomorrow. President Kufuor has been making several stops across the country, and we are very lucky to have this man of wisdom campaigning for us, unlike the NDC, who do not have the support of their former president, like former President Bill Clinton supported President Obama. That resulted in victory. Former President Kufuor is hit the road, and he's doing very much for us. It is with sadness and so much grief that we lost our other illustrious campaigner, His Excellency, the late former Vice President Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, and may Allah give him a good place to rest, who was also vigorously campaigning for our candidates and our running mates, supporting him and counseling him and leading him in his campaign.
All
the
right,
national leadership, if I could conclude on this, the national leadership of our party, and I refer to the national chairman and his other national officers, are also crisscrossing and doing a lot for the campaign. So our campaign is a very comprehensive one.
Let me just point out that we're trying to reach the national organizer of the ND. We had agreed to speak to the national organizer of the NDC, Boateng Jan. We're still trying to reach him. We're unable to get him, but we'll still try attempting to reach him for what the NDC is doing in these final days to the polls. Now, Abu, I'm just wondering how much of what you are going to do in these final days will be shaped by what your opponents are doing.
Come again, please.
I'm asking that how much of what you're going to be doing in these final days, how much of that will be shaped by what your opponents are doing?
Well, we are not going to be particular about what our opponents do per se. Like I did indicate earlier, we are going to have to be focused, and that is the strategy, to keep our eye on the ball, to keep drumming home the message, and that is what is important. Fortunately for us, our message resonates tremendously with the Ghanaian people, and clearly, everywhere we've been to, with almost a sense of unanimity, the Ghanaian people have arrived at the conclusion that this government has failed woefully, and they need an alternative, and they find the end position on almost all sectors of our national life: education, healthcare, job creation, infrastructure development, good governance, every aspect of our national life. They find the MPP's alternative to be a more credible one, a workable one. They also believe that the NDC has failed. They failed to do so many, to brought monumental hardship onto the Ghanaian people. So it's not really going to be shaped by what they do. It's going to be about what we do. You are doing, Araba, that Nana Akufo-Addo and the NDC have been shaping the campaign. We'll be setting the agenda. The most topical issue in this 2012 campaign has been education. And who is the Christian aspect of education in this country today? Nana Akufo-Addo. The issues that are being talked about today have been engineered by the Akufo-Addo and his campaign. The other issue that we're going to have to be taking note of, and if you allow me, let me just speak to you very briefly, is the question of policing the ballot on election day. And I take this opportunity to call on all our foot all our party approaches across the country, that all that we have done for the past 4 years, all the hard work, all the struggle, all the sacrifices will come not if we don't remain vigilant on election day. From the very beginning to the end, all of us have to come out early.
Okay.
Those of us who can come out at dawn should do so. When we do so, the law stipulates, Araba, quickly, the law stipulates that you should not be within 100 meters radius from the polling station. So when you vote, you can be 100 meters away from the polling station to keep vigilance in respect of the polling.
Thank you very much. I think that your point has been made clear. But I'm still joined on the line by Nneɛma Akomfra of the CPP. I'm going to put that same question to you. How much of what your opponents are doing will shape your candidate's campaign in the final lap?
I think we certainly have to be mindful of what our opponents are doing so that we can counter some of what they're doing if it's relevant to us. And so, yes, we will remain focused, and we have our own plan for the finishing stages, but we will have to not be blind to what our opponents are doing. We will react, and we will need to counter anything that we believe have an effect on us. Our main, some of our leading members are also, this is a stage for some of them to come out, and already we've seen Professor Akosa in the Brown Afro region. He will be in Ashanti region. We're seeing Dr. Safo. He will be in places like Aburi and Akropong. We're going to see Bright Akwete out and about a lot more in Accra. All of that is part of our final phase strategy, getting some of the bigger guns out there to go to the doorstep of Ghanaians to get the vote for the CDP. But yes, we have to be mindful of what our opponents are doing. We cannot remain blind for the finishing stages. If we believe that we've done work in a particular area, and we believe that something that they're doing there may affect us, then we may need to go back and counter some of the messages that are happening there. And we know some of the strategies, final strategies already of some of our opponents, and we may have to continue to keep an eye on what they're doing in villages so that we can counter it.
Okay, thank you very much. That is the Communications Secretary of the CPP, Nneɛma Akomfra, joining us there on the line. We have on the line now Dr. Omane Boamah of the NDC. He's a deputy campaign coordinator. Many thanks for your time, Doc. Now, how important do you reckon these few days will be to your electoral fortunes?
We are treating every single day as very, very important. Let me emphasize that our campaign was given a major boost after 2 nights ago, the IEA debate. President Mahama clearly demonstrated that in terms of the candidate who knows what he is about and the candidate who has delivered to the good people of Ghana concrete achievements, it is President Mahama. And in terms of the party that has also served this country very, very well in recent times, it is the NDC. Flowing from that, we came to the Eastern region yesterday, and the enthusiasm from the good people of the Eastern region has been enormous. We have just parked by the roadside on the Kasajan Road, And Kasajang Road in Koforidua is very, very significant to me because in the early 1980s, my grandmother used to take me to farm around the Kasajang Road. Governments had indicated they were going to construct this road. They could not do it. Come and observe it yourself. This road is now well done, and you cannot say anything but to say that the NDC government has done very, very well. As I speak to you now, yesterday alone, we handled 11 constituencies in the eastern region. We are on our way to Chebi to pay a courtesy call on the Ochehine and then to hold a rally in Chebi. After that, we have said that in this year's election, we are clearly working towards a one-touch victory. This one-touch victory is going to be hinged on the monumental achievements. Talk about the 1 million metric tons of cocoa that we have produced just in 1 year. Talk about expansion of the economy from a low of 30 to a high of 70. Talk about the unprecedented achievements in education. Talk about the 2 universities established. The functional chips and compounds raised from 400 to 1,600 and all that.
Okay, John.
And we are saying that in the next administration, we are going to distribute 400,000 laptops to students.
Very well. Let's focus on the campaign proper. Let's focus on the campaign proper. You have less than 2 weeks to the polls now. Is anything going to change about your campaign?
We are very, very focused. For instance, in the eastern region where we are now, we intend to win by 52%. And that is the strategy that we are sticking to. In the Ashanti region, we have our strategy, and from the eastern region, we are moving to the Ashanti region. And we have other places that we have earmarked. In the last days, we will also push in some few different strategies. We are very, very focused in terms of what we are doing. Perhaps it may be others who may have to vary their strategy to be able to catch up with us. President Mahama is confident of victory. He just finished addressing a mammoth rally at the Koforidua lorry station, and the kind of development that has taken place in Koforidua is truly, truly unprecedented. We are confident that with God on our side and the good people of Ghana supporting President Mahama, one-touch victory is only some few days away.
So I assume you've achieved all the campaign objectives you set for yourselves at the start of this election.
We have done reviews upon reviews, and clearly, once we have a very, very good candidate, a peaceful candidate, an affable candidate, a very knowledgeable candidate who is not only well-versed in just one area, he's very, very multi-dimensional, multi-purposeful, and he's steering the affairs of this campaign very, very well. It makes the job of the campaign a little bit much more manageable. It makes the job of the many Ghanaians who I want to vote for him a little bit manageable, because any time that you pitch him against the other presidential candidates, it is very, very clear that he stands very, 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 very tall. And I'm referring to metaphorical tallness.
Okay. Earlier, we spoke to some of your opponents, and they indicated that they were employing their strong personalities within their parties to also send the message across. We were told earlier that former President Rawlings was going to be a part of your campaign. We didn't. There was no specification as to what role he was actually going to play. But what role is he playing? Tell us.
I have indicated to you that we have a campaign program that is working for us and has worked for us, and our internal polls are clearly demonstrating to us that if we continue doing what we are doing, continue working very hard, and continue letting the people know what we are coming to provide, it's clear that we are clinching a one-touch victory with the help of God and with the help of Ghana. Every NDC member, including the respected founder of our party, is expected to campaign.
All right. Thank you very much. And that's the Deputy Coordinator, Campaign Coordinator for the NDC, Dr. Edward Omane Boamah. Well, the PNC's presidential candidate, Hassan Ayaraga, is taking some break due to ill health. We also understand the PPP is intensifying its campaign to make the most of the home stretch. And that's how we end Election Headquarters for today. My name is Ara Bukumson. The program was brought to you by Star Ghana as well as Infobox Mobile Services. Text election or joy to 1922 for more. The program came to you live from the studios of Multi TV. It was also live on radio on Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you very much for your time. Join us same time next week.